Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome to lesson 46 of Hebrew Basics, a series where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. Last time, we did an overview of the 7 binyanim of the Hebrew verb system. Binyanim are constructions of our 3-letter roots that can change the meaning of a verb made from them. Throughout this series, we've only worked with the kal binyan, which expresses basic actions. But today, we are going to begin learning how to form and use the Piel binyan. Last time, we saw the Piel is often used to make verbs more intense than they are in the kal, or make them causative. I said then that not all roots in the Piel will have these characteristics. Some roots are just used in the Piel with no clear reason. One of these roots is dalet beit resh, which is a very important root, which in the Piel has a meaning of speaking or talking. Let's use this root to see how a regular Piel infinitive is made. All infinitives will start with the preposition le, to, regardless of binyan. In the Piel, the vowel under this le is a schwa. Then we have the first root letter dalet with a patach, and the second root letter beit with tzere, and also a dagesh. This dagesh in the second root letter is an important characteristic of the Piel. We end with the third root letter resh. That makes ledaber, which means to speak or to talk. To see the difference between the kal and the Piel, here's a regular kal infinitive, likhtov, which means to write. The kal vowel pattern is hirik, shva, and cholam, while the Piels, as in ledaber, is shva, patach, and sere. Also remember the dagesh in the second root letter of the Piel. Let's also make the Piel infinitive of the root lamed mem dalet, which we saw last time. In the kal, the infinitive of this root is lilmod, which means to learn. If a root appears in both the kal and the Piel, the meaning of the Piel verb will sometimes be causative. In this case, the Piel infinitive from this root means to cause to learn. That is, to teach. This infinitive will be made with a lamed with shva, to, followed by the first root letter lamed with patach, second root letter mem with tzere, and third root letter dalet. In some writing, a dagesh is also put in the second root letter mem. Usually, I only add a dagesh to the letters that it changes the sound of, beit, kaf, and peh. However, I will add it to other letters in Piel verbs since it is an important part of their form. The verb to teach, then, is lalamed. Let's learn another root, mem lamed aleph. This root in a kal infinitive is limlo, which means to be filled or to be full. Since the Piel often makes the causative form of its kal counterpart, what would the Piel infinitive lamale mean? The kal means to be filled, so to cause to be filled is the meaning of the Piel lamale. Of course, the better way to translate it is simply to fill. Again, note the Piel infinitive pattern of shva, patach, tzere, and dagesh. The verb to break in Hebrew is lishvor, a kal infinitive from the root shin beit resh. Another way the Piel can change the meaning of a root's verb from its meaning in the kal is by making it more intense. The Piel of this root has a meaning of breaking to pieces, a more intense action. The infinitive to break to pieces is lamed with shva, first root letter shin with patach, second root letter beit with dagesh and tzere, and third root letter resh. Lashaber, to break to pieces. Another root with an intensive Piel meaning is kuf pe tsari. In the kal, the infinitive of this root is likfots, which means to jump. The Piel of this root has a more intense meaning than the kal, so the infinitive lakapets in the Piel means to jump up and down, a more intense action. The Piel does not have as many irregularities as the kal, but we will look at a couple common root letters that will make the Piel infinitive irregular. Just like the kal, If a root ends with hey, the piel will be irregular in the infinitive. For an example of this, let's use the root chet kaf he, which in the piel has a meaning of waiting. This infinitive will again start with lamed with shva, first root letter chet with patach, and second root letter kaf with dagesh. The vowel after the second root letter, though, will be a vav with holam instead of a tsere, which is followed by a tav, which acts in place of the third root letter he. That makes lachakot, to wait. The other common irregularity of a piel infinitive happens when the last root letter is an ayin or chet. Remember that when these letters are at the end of a word, the vowel before them must be an a vowel. But in a piel infinitive, the last vowel is a tsere, as in ladaber, to speak. Let's see what happens when we put the root nun tsari chet into a piel infinitive, which will mean to win. We start as usual, lamed with shva, the nun with a patach, and the tsari with a tsere, and a dagesh if you're using the dagesh for grammatical purposes. Then we'll end with the third root letter chet. To make the vowel before this chet at the end of a word an a vowel, we put a patach under the chet, which makes it sound before the chet. Ach. That makes lanatseach, to win. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. And if you want to learn more Hebrew, please consider subscribing to my channel and checking out some of my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.